Really, at the end of the day, it's just the matter of a macro market. It's just what happens.
That's why it's really important to have a plan and understand what your goals are.
In fact, my camel out there is suffering right now with a broken back.
So I actually found Pepe when it was only a couple of hours old, and I'm like, oh, this is a funny meme.
Oh my god.
Yo! Who is this DJ?
The old man is swing trading over years at a time. And it's like, that's where the real money is made.
The answer is impermanent loss. With single-sided staking, you don't have to worry about impermanent loss.
If you're aware, if you're disciplined, you can hone that into further financial growth.
Financial freedom, so we can actually live life and not have to be constantly living paycheck to paycheck. I mean, that's the ultimate goal, more or less, right?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, degens, ducks, and squirrels, welcome to episode, I don't even remember what I think it's episode 17 of Book Club. I think this is episode 17. Forgive me if I'm wrong. Who cares? It's chapter 3 of Sci-Vive, brought to you by McDonald's drive-through cheeseburgers and windows and things. Joining me today, I got Mr. Zenith, our fantastic, super duper jack of all trades, master of none, Coast Guardsman extraordinaire. I got Mr. Nate McGettit. He's our resident liquidity providing expert and also jack of all trades, master of none. I've got Mr. Sam over there. He's another jack. Man, we're just full of jack of all trades, masters of none today. Sam builds houses and Sam talks about his feelings about books and things. We got Farmer Jay over there. He's a kick-ass electrician and he's also homeless and will make sure to protect you as you pass through the bridges underneath the 405. And then we've also got our fantastic producer, Mrs. McGettit. Ladies and germs, can you go ahead and tell the folks at home who you are? I gave you a little bit of an introduction as far as what you do, but for the people who might be watching who have never seen you before, give a brief overview of like what you do and specifically as it applies to either the DGen Roundtable or whatever sort of stuff you do in real life. But introduce yourselves. Tell us how you're doing. What's up, fam? We're going to talk about some cool ass shit on Sci-Vive today. Zenith, you go first, bro.
Hello, I am Jack of all trades, number 1. No longer Coasty, but just an old man now with bad knees, bad back, bad ankle, and I think I might have jacked up my shoulder benching this week. So that's what we got going on over here. Top of the show, I do want to give a shout out to our good friend Nuclear Herbs over on Twitter. He has some health complications going on this week, so we are sending thoughts and prayers and much love to him and his wife. They are fantastic folks, and notably, he is the Pulse Chain lawyer. He has been doing fantastic coverage of all the Richard Hart stuff going on right now, so he is absolutely a follow that you should have already done by now. And if you have not, give him a follow, send him some love, let him know that we're looking out for him. Other than that, we are back with Sci-Vive. This is a bit of a longer one I think we're going to have, but I'm excited to talk about it. And this is one of those chapters where I think I'm going to be doing a little bit more of a meta-analysis, where it's like, this is a chapter where you really see how Richard Hart views the world and what his thought process looks like. And it comes out in this one for sure. So that's what I got. Passing it over to Nate McGettit. I don't know if he's a jack of all trades, but he's definitely a meme coin trader extraordinaire.
I'd say I'm pretty close to jack of all trades. I got a little bit of knowledge in just about everything, but I have actually been getting extremely deep into like liquidity pairing and all that. There's some very interesting things over with the Atropa dev and all that. I'm kind of like an entire like web that's going on. So it's very interesting and it's been fascinating me. For a little while, I was kind of getting bored because I'm like, okay, well, you know, somebody creates a token. The token does a thing where you can like yield or whatever. And it's like, okay, cool. Whatever. Been doing it a million times, right? Oh, there's another DEX, right? But yeah, now I'm kind of looking at this and it's very interesting how kind of almost like in a spiral motion, you can infinitely have your coins going up in price through arbitrage. So it's a fascinating little thing to look into, and I've really been diving deep into it. So hey, looks like we might have a video coming out here soon enough. That's going to be very fascinating. But yeah, other than that, Sam, what is going on?
What is going on? Well, my mouse is on my mouse pad, and the mouse pad is on the couch. So I would have to say that's it.
Excellent. Who are you? And for the folks at home who have never seen you before, what do you kind of do? And just give us like a quick little elevator pitch as to who is Sam Stevenson. By the way, we're brothers. For those of you who didn't notice the fact that I guess your last name's not up, but we do look similar, and we probably mention it a lot. But this is my brother over this way. That's my brother. Look at that. It's like that painting of like God touching, like God reaching out and touching Adam's finger, and Adam reaching back and touching. I think that was a Michelangelo. Anyways, who are you, Sam? What's up, bro?
Who am I? I am the guy who does bungalows for bachelors. If you want to learn about home construction or how you can like improve your life through knowing about it, knowing how to build, if you want to build stuff in your backyard, if you want to build a deck, you name it. I'm just out here to like basically extract all the information out of the building industry and like condense it and funnel it and make it useful for anybody who wants to get the access to that information, because there's just so much stuff that the builders know, that the industry knows, that's like not a lot of people are throwing out like the really useful stuff onto YouTube. And so I'm just here to like gather it all up. I'm in the thick of it. I'm building stuff with you guys, and that's what I'm here for. So check it out, Bungalows for Bachelors.
Hey Sam,
Hell yeah.
Have you done an episode yet on foundations and then like packing ground to lay concrete on?
Yes, if you would check out the home building program I've created, one of the classes is on site preparation, pad preparation, soils and stuff.
Love it. I'm not a civil. We always made fun of them because they always had the dirt classes, but now that I'm getting older, I'm like, oh man, I really wish I knew that.
Now, Sam, you had mentioned you have classes and everything. I'm about to post your Telegram into the chat. Can you go ahead and while I'm doing that, can you pull up a link to the class thing that you offer that you just mentioned? Because I forgot where to find that link.
Yeah, I'll go find that very specific video and I'll throw it in the chat for Mr.
Okie dokie. Excellent. And then next up, we got Farmer Jay. Farmer Jay, how's it going, bro? What is new and exciting with you? And can you give the folks at home a brief introduction as far as like who you are and what you enjoy doing, how you give back to the community and everything?
I take from the community. I give nothing.
There you go. Excellent. Everyone needs that. Everyone needs that person to steal the lunch money from, so they can learn how to get good self-defense.
And I am Farmer John, and I like to farm shitcoins. My newest shitcoin farm is what is it? BBC and the Ink token over on 9inch.
Okay.
I figured just pair 2 incentive tokens together.
That's not bad. I'm doing the 9inch BBC.
I just take the rewards from both of the from the Ink token and the rewards for BBC, and then I just pull them together and just compound it. That's my latest farm so far.
That's pretty smart, bro. I like it. I like that. Excellent. Mrs. McGettit. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Finish your thought, Farmer.
No, I said I think that farm's not too old. It's probably a few weeks old, so it's still offering decent rewards.
Very nice. Excellent. I've not seen that one nor tried that one, but that does pique my interest a little bit. I do like the stuff they got going on over there at the 9inch decks. That's a 9inch decks. That's fun to say. The decentralized exchange that is 9 inches, that is also very like, all about phallic humor and all that sorts of fun stuff. But last but not least, this is actually probably our most important person on the team who brings together everything that we got going on, make sure we have like a nice smooth stream. Mrs. McGettit, you are our producer. How are you doing? What's new and exciting with you? And can you describe your stuff other than producing and whatnot? Or you can describe producing. The floor is yours. Take it away.
Okay, then. Well, first off, I am back. I've been gone for, I want to say like a month now, because my toddler is a little germ factory. When you have a young one and you send them off to preschool, everybody likes to send their sick kids to preschool because they don't want to deal with them. And then your kid gets sick, and then they bring that crap home, and then you get stuck with it. And so I've been sick for a long time, and I'm getting tired of it. But that's what's really been happening with me. It's just sitting at home with the little guy, trying to get him feeling better. Usually he recovers a lot quicker than me, so lucky him. Other than that, as Will's already said, I produced for you all, of course. I don't know if I'm the most important person here. I think that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but I appreciate it.
Well, there you go. You're the glue that holds these grains of sand together to form the concrete, or something like that. Without you, one of us would have to be pushing the buttons, and I sure as hell don't want to do it. So excellent. Oh snap! Look at this. I'm seeing in the. I'm sorry, Mrs. McGinn. I didn't mean to cut you off. Is that your end to your intro?
Yeah, that was about all I have. Nothing too exciting of
Excellent.
it. It's just been busy for me recently, so I've been doing a bunch of stuff, running around.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you're busy. I like hearing that people are busy, because busy means that life is happening and people are getting goals accomplished and the world is getting more exciting and adventurous. And I'm all about that. And speaking of exciting and adventurous, I'm seeing in the chats that the Happening just happened, and that's fucking nuts. I didn't expect that for another several hours or something. I thought it was going to happen at 4:20. What a bummer. Oh well. This is pretty fucking cool, ladies and germs. The Happening, hooray! Happened live on stream. You get to see it or hear it here first. What are you guys' thoughts on The Happening?
I'm crying right now. I wanted 420 so bad. I was like, this would be like a gift from the universe.
That would be pretty cool.
It's not 4:20 for us, because I mean, for me, it's about 6 o'clock in the afternoon. However, it is technically 4:20 London time, and we do operate off of UTC time, so it is a 4:20. We did have the stars align.
Okay. Hooray!
We got it.
Yes. Fuck yeah!
We squeaked it in by like literally
did it.
like 10 minutes, but we did it.
Man, that's kind of cool. I did not expect the. Man, that's fucking sweet. I did not expect for The Happening to happen like live while we're streaming. That's super fucking cool, boys. Hell yeah.
So
and
shout out
girl.
to those like 5 miners that turned off their miners just to slow it down just a hair to get us past that midnight.
Yep. Oh, that is too cool. Well, outstanding. It looked like we got some well, I'm gonna go ahead and transition on over to chats. I see that we've got a lively chat going on right now. My goodness. We've got Tam in here. Shout out to Tam. We've got Agent J, like that smash or like that hold on. Agent J is saying that like button
Correct.
smash.
Like that fuck
What was that?
smash.
Oh, dude, he I'm trying to read Agent J's our technical analyst, not to be confused with Farmer J. We've got an Agent J and we've got a Farmer J. There's lots of J's in this house. We need we need to build an army of J's.
You know what I think it is, Will? In
What's
reading
that?
I think he's missing punctuation. So he's like, hit the like button, smash.
That like button smash. I think that he did that. Yeah, he did that on purpose because he's got an exclamation point in there.
Yeah, he's trying to fuck you up.
Yeah, guys, he's trolling us. Come on.
Yeah, that's good. That's good troll. Excellent. Well, I'm glad that he's in the chats watching the fam, making sure that keeping us honest to make sure that we smash that like button. We got Zenith. Hey, Zenith in the chats. The Ascending Man. Tam again. Shoot. I just saw Oh, Bungalows for Bachelors. What a fire intro. Thank you, Bungalows for Bachelors. This intro was brought to you by Chocolate Taints. Josh. He did a fantastic job. So for a long time, we had our original intro, and then we never realized that any money that we make while we had that copyrighted song, half of it goes to YouTube, first off. So any money that you guys super chat into us, half of it goes to YouTube. And then of the other half that were left over, half of it went to the guys that like would give us like a copyright strike or whatever, the owners of our original intro song. So when Josh redid the song for us, he did that crazy, crisp, new, awesome intro that we got right now. And that thing is freaking amazing. I quite like it. Let's see what else we got in the chats here. Bungalows for Bachelors, Zenith. I'm scrolling through all the regular ones. I saw Centurion. Yes, Centurion. Welcome, or excuse me, Kenturian. Welcome, Kenturian. 54X. I like it. Good evening, Degens. All right, so we've got some. Oh, there's more in the stars, I think. Oh, Facebook user. Hell yeah, somebody's checking us out on Facebook. That's a kick-ass. Oh man, I did not expect that. What are you talking about? Hell yeah. Salute to you, good sir, on Facebook. I don't know who you are because it doesn't tell us your name, but we're going to be talking about Sci-Vive Chapter 3, which covers the spirit and Richard Hart's interpretation of spirit and how that applies to like self-betterment and how to best leverage your ability to like walk through this life and get shit done. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and do a quick read off of, man, like I say quick read off, but there's actually quite a bit of stuff that goes into spirit. I listened to prep for the podcast because I was short on time. I listened to the one that's done by Annex the Crypto Space or Anhex the Crypto Space because that one's about 2 hours, 15 minutes long, but I'm looking through a Wild SJ's reading. By the way, if you guys don't know, Wild SJ read all of Sci-Vive, so go check her shit out at a Wild SJ on YouTube. She read all of Sci-Vive and did a fantastic job. But I'm looking through her chats right now, and RH Max did a fantastic job doing all the timestamps for everything. So I'm going to go through a quick little synopsis of what is all inside of this this chapter for Sci-Vive Mind. So the first thing that Richard Hart covers is confidence and growth, climbing the stairs of desire. Then he talks about frequency illusion, designing your life, overconfidence being hard to measure, how directors and storytellers basically mellow out with age. So like, you know, people stop having testosterone the older that they get. And so like, you can see this with like old musicians too. You know, like if you look at Metallica's early music versus like the music that Metallica's putting out nowadays, it's like, they used to be like, oh, you know, kill everything, blood and violence. And now it's like, oh, all mellow. It's all about the feelings and good stuff, you know? So it's very simple or very silly on how aging affects people. So one thing to think about as you get older, if you're a dude, is you know, like replacing the testosterone that your body produces naturally. There's a whole bunch of ways to do that. I can't give advice on how to do any of that shit. I don't know how it all works. It's all fairy dust and magic, if you ask me. But that's something to consider, is like, if you want to have like a healthy young person amount of testosterone in your body, you can replace that as you get older, so that way you're still like a hard charging killer going through your days and everything. The next thing he talks about is doing what wasn't inevitable, doing one thing exceedingly well, focusing on what matters, being a jack of all trades, master of none, versus being a master of one, doing what you're cut out for and then measuring your cut, putting effort into the important things, wishing for more wishes, the 6 human needs and how they're more or less irrelevant as like described by Tony Robbins. Emotions have a reason. Caring is a resource. Being the master of your emotions. Adversarial internal logic. The importance of crying. Everything matters. Being a nerd. The death of Socrates. Values and belief, i.e. like choosing your destiny. He talks a little bit about the Fermi paradox, which is all about aliens for those of you guys who are interested in aliens. Nate, I know that's part of your wheelhouse, brother. That's some good stuff. We're gonna delve into that a little bit.
What kind of
What's up?
What kind of aliens we talking about?
Oh, we'll get into that in a little bit. I'm gonna cover all of the things that he talks about in this incredibly long in this incredibly long book. But the Fermi paradox is like, to boil it down really quickly, is just like, how come we haven't, like, the odds of us being the only thing alive in the universe are essentially infinitesimally small because there's an infinite number of possibilities and things. But then also, like, why haven't we been visited yet, and should we be scared about it? But we'll get into that in a little bit. Which, you know, leads into the next part that he talks about, is the faraway stuff doesn't matter and we aren't first. Then he talks about making a great melting pot, and then celebrating differences both between men and women and between like races and cultures and other things. He talks about how to prioritize things and then suggests that people should write books. Then he goes into intelligent design, why inbreeding might be a feature, not a bug, appearing good while being bad, the failure of philosophy, the meaning of the universe, meaning like in our reality and everything. Mind and body are essentially the same. The benefit of the many, or to benefit the many, they will very likely benefit you back. Nightmares are actually awesome. You become what you focused on. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Game theory, dream books and dream boards, emotions, happiness, emotional environment, having better emotions in your life, which like leads into the whole like idea of Sci-Vive, the living through science. achieving a high and then riding it to success, short-term measurable goals versus long-term goals, mindset to feeling, the work of Paul Ekman regarding emotions, the 2 dimensions of emotions, psychological construction, emotional programming. Emotions are essentially what brought you into existence in the first place. The recommendation of not being the weakest and therefore last link in your genealogy. Our programming, why we need to procreate, perceptual excellence, color response, emotional fitness. Appreciation is the only true wealth, true courage, having the courage to endure pain and save energy for breakthrough, negative emotions, pessimism and frustration, jealousy, evolutionary psychology, greed, rain being good, frustration versus anger, the spirit mind and whether it's good or bad, how certainty is rare, happiness is often overrated, using your happiness wisely, making uncertainty work for you, enjoying not being happy, and not optimizing for happiness. So that is
Really
a
quick, though.
summary. What's up?
I just want to answer this really quick because I feel like we should get on top of it.
Is there a chat?
The Facebook user is asking if this is for kids, and unfortunately, those on Facebook don't see the comments on YouTube. So I just wanted to let him know really quick. I did respond, but he's not going to see it. It's we're family friendly for the most part, but there may be some strong language throughout. We don't go like crazy in here. It's not like where it's too far, but not exactly meant for kids, but it's like safe for kids for the most part, if that makes sense. So hope that helps.
Yes, this show is not designed for kids. We're covering a lot of like adult concepts, I suppose, but it's not adult in that it's bad for kids. It's just we don't necessarily censor our language. If you are going to have kids watching, just let us know, and I will do my best to put a pin on the swearing and things. But it is not designed for kids. This is more like adult. What's the word?
It's concepts that are basically for adults. So
yeah,
as an adult, you can further yourself based on what it is we're talking about. Are children going to listen to this and understand it and try and implement it in their life? No, it's not really that type of thing.
Mm-hmm. If you have a young adult, if you have a child who's somewhere in like the budding adulthood and they're interested in listening to us talk about a book for 2 hours, like it's probably got some good concepts in here that would benefit them to learn. However, this is definitely not like 5 to 10-year-old knowledge structure stuff. I would say young adults probably, but children, I don't know, they can probably listen to it. I don't know. This is the first time I think we've ever had potential for kids listening to our podcast. So I've never really considered that.
I think in general, our stuff is pretty applicable to like a high school level audience. However, this one in particular, I think is going to be more of maybe even higher than that, because this chapter in particular does talk about like religion from not just like the stance of like the tenets of religions, but like practicality on a human evolution scale. So it's like that kind of thing where it's like, this is not a foundational style material. This is really kind of like analyzing foundational material and then trying to find ways for it to be more practical or effective. So if you don't have the underlying basis, this is not going to be useful to you.
Perhaps. Yes. Yeah. I think that, that's a good point. Farmer Jay, did you have something?
I just said, what kid is still on Facebook?
That's a.
This is also very true. Yes.
Yep. Sorry, Facebook user, you have unknowingly aged yourself. That's okay. We're all the same age. We all use Facebook as well. We're all old people. Yeah, that's a good point. What would kids be doing on Facebook? They're probably over on Instagram or Snapchat or whatever the new thing is. But anyways, all those things that I covered, that's the first half of this chapter. I'm not even going to go into like what's covered in the second half because it's just such a long list of like interesting topics of discussion. But that was like that was the meat and potatoes. Before we start jumping into the points that I want to cover, I want to turn it over to the panel. And if you guys have any particular if anyone go ahead and speak if you have a particular thing that really stood out to you. Otherwise, we'll just go ahead and jump into the topics that I've thought about and I've done some notes on.
Just from a literary standpoint on this one, sorry if I'm talking too much.
No,
I
you're
just want to get this out there. I think that this is one of those chapters where you really see how Richard Hart's mind works, and then also his writing style, which is honestly a bit of a lack of writing style, in that this chapter in particular felt like a large conglomeration of abstractly related ideas. I'd argue that a lot of the concepts in this spirit section could also easily be applied to the mind section in more of like, it's kind of like a mindset thing versus this is spirit. So it's like, what does that make you think of? And is the answer like thinking about how to effectively utilize your brain power? I would argue that's more of a mind thing. But again, it does, like, fair warning, it is going to feel very disjointed. I personally listened to the SJ version, so I don't know what you guys got out of it versus what I got out of it. This kind of feels like one of those like King James versus New International Bible things going on. But
yeah,
we will make do with what we got. I will say though that at its core, a lot of the information, it's something that you really only think about once someone like kind of exposes you to the idea. However, at the end of the day, a lot of it is pretty intuitive and easy to follow. But at the same time though, it's like what I talked about when we were doing the is this for kids thing. It's like, no, not really, because you got to have a foundation of the existing mindset that is out there in the world and is promoted and pushed. And then what Richard Hart does is really deconstruct it to kind of find like the useful bits and extrapolate on the useful parts.
I like that. That is, man, I'm torn a little bit, not torn. I'm drawn a little bit to your analogy about the King James thing. That's sticking with me now. And I'm wondering like what sort of things that I heard that you didn't hear and what sort of things did you hear that I'm not going to hear. Real quick, I'm gonna just kind of do a little bit of a silly here, and I'm gonna toss this question on over to Sam. One of the things that he had mentioned in the very beginning is he's talking about building houses and things, and how like kids could build houses and stuff, and how foundations and concrete is essentially just expensive sand all glued together. And I wanted to throw it on over to you and see if that's your same thoughts on what is concrete, and also do you think that the world would benefit on a more serious note from like kids getting involved in house construction and things like that?
Yes, I think from multiple angles. One, it's good for people to learn like learn the value of doing something with your hands and producing something that's like either like it solves a problem, like it builds a thing. Like kids still, like, I would argue that most kids do it regardless, whether it's with Legos or with like a tent in their backyard, or it's with like foam blocks or couch cushions, like building forts. Like humans have been creating structures to contain themselves from the weather for a very long time. And it's just something that we all like to do because once you get inside, you're like, hey, oh yeah, I'm good. And then when you're adults, you're like, okay, well, how about we make it like a little more expensive? But other than that, I would say it's good. So I think a lot of kids pretty much already want to do it. But yeah, I would say it's a valuable thing. And I would say no. Concrete is concrete, and it either works or it doesn't. In the world of like things needing to work, this is not a speculative. How are you feeling about it? Topic. I would say the building either falls down or it does not.
So we can't just glue sand together and use that as the foundation for things like, I don't know, the Burj Khalifa.
You could if you wanted to do that. I wouldn't.
I thought that's how you made like concrete and stuff. You glue a bunch of sand and dirt and shit together.
Yep.
Yes,
you get a whole
you
bunch of
mix-
horses. You squish them down into glue. You get a whole bunch of sand. You squish that on in there as well, and then that's how foundations are born.
Oh, okay. I've learned something today.
When a pile of
Just
sand
think-
loves a pile of
Bro,
horses
those
very
poor
much.
Horses.
I was gonna say, just imagine how many horses it took to build the pyramids there.
It just made me very sad. I cannot live in a home anymore. I need to boycott houses.
Boycott houses because of all these poor horses being turned into glue. Okay, so back to I'm gonna expand the question for the rest of the panel. I suppose Farmer Jay, I'm gonna toss this one over to you. So you do electrician work and stuff like that, correct? Something in that realm of it stuff.
I mean, I mostly hide at the job, but something like that.
Okay. Do you think that like it would that so if do you think that kids would benefit from getting like small snippets of experience in your line of work? Do you think that that might help make the world a better place, or that like kids would benefit a little bit from interacting in the space that you work, or seeing what like adults do in your area, in your field? Because I know there's some jobs that it would be totally inappropriate to bring like surgery, for instance, would probably not be a good idea to have kids in the surgical room, or I don't know, flying an airplane or something like that. But I know that, so a lot of us here are in the blue collar industry. Do you think that kids would benefit from, or do you think that it would be possible to create like some sort of program or some sort of like bring your kid to work day in the realm of things similar to what you do?
Yeah, I think that kids will benefit greatly from like doing any kind of trade work, not just
Yeah.
electrical. There's plumbing, framing, concrete work, even digging ditches. It's
Give them some
I
character.
think society nowadays devalues physical labor.
Yeah.
Like they've been taught that everybody needs to go to college, and they look down on the trades. In reality, the
Hmm.
trades are the ones that keep society running. Like whether it be your like people make fun of plumbers, but come on, like you want your plumbing to work. If your toilet's
Yep.
not working, that makes your life horrible. Same thing with
Oh yeah.
electricity. If your lights don't come on at night, you have a problem. Like these are actual useful things. Most people nowadays they want this office job, right? They don't actually
Yep.
produce anything for society. They just
Yep.
they just sit there. Like they really do not contribute to society. All they do is collect the paycheck. What it over the past year we see all these tech companies just laying off people massively because they've been
Yeah.
sitting in the office doing nothing. I remember about maybe 4 or 5 years ago when there was the building boom in the Santa Monica area and the LA area, these tech companies were building these offices for these people. They would spoil them. They had full kitchens. They had bathrooms with all the toiletries you can think of. If you forgot to brush your teeth, they had a full stock there. Feminine hygiene products, not just one type, all sorts of stuff. They had shampoos, everything you can think of that you had at home. They would provide it for these people, but these people contribute nothing to society. They literally sit behind a desk, and I think most people look at that as like success, but you're not contributing nothing to society. So to answer your question, yeah, like I think more people would benefit, even if you don't go into the trades. You would at least appreciate how or have an understanding of what makes society run. Like I remember when they started taking wood shop out of schools. I was one of like the last classes that had wood shop. I mean that was fun. Nowadays they took away wood shop. There's no more auto repair in schools. They basically don't teach you how to work with your hands, and that's very important. Even if you're not going to do that, it's always good to know it. Like every man should have some tools at home that they know how to use.
100%. I agree wholeheartedly, bro, and that's a good way to put it. Kids would do well to just observe the basics of this construction and stuff going on. Nate, I'm gonna toss it to you, brother. What do you like? Have you ever so you currently do pest control where you roll around to people's houses and you interact with customers and things of that nature? Do you think that that would be a good thing to like have a young adult tag along with and kind of see like how that world works, interacting with the customers specifically, and also like going into strange people's houses to get a goal accomplished for them and things like that? What do you think, bro?
Well, absolutely. Actually, it'd be really good training. Yeah, for as you say, but more importantly, the discipline of doing a job even when the weather sucks. It's like today was snowing and it was like 34 degrees. So it's cold and miserable and it's very windy.
Yeah.
But hey, you're just out there doing your thing. Just keep going with it. And so
Yeah,
it'd be really good for a child to learn that. A child, even all the way up until like the teens, right? It's a good thing to learn. Hey, there's a job to do. Let's go do it. Let's get it done. I know it's miserable out right now, but then
Even
there's
as
the
an
other.
adult, like we should always strive to learn, like respect other people's work. Like I wouldn't mind tagging along with Nate for like a week, like
Oh,
Hell
learning
yeah.
fun, that's for sure.
yeah, like I wouldn't mind at all. Like to me, like I don't know. I've always just like working with my hands. I've tried office stuff. It's just That's not what I'm suited for.
Dude, you meet a lot of really cool dogs. Like I'm a freaking dog lover, so
That's awesome.
Every single time, you meet the nicest dogs. You also meet some scary dogs, but yeah, no, it would be absolutely fantastic though for kids to go out and learn about all this, and not only that too, but I mean, there's a lot of things about pest control in itself. You know, when it comes to like the chemicals and all that, you know, some safety measures, right? They can start learning about that, about poisons.
Yeah.
Because the things that you learn in pest control are kind of universal for all poisons in general. You know, so yeah, it would be a really, really good thing. You know, bring your kid to work day type of stuff.
That's bro. I think that like at some point here on the DGen Roundtable, or maybe like a sister channel or something, I think that doing a deep dive into how to react to poisons, bro. You've got a crazy amount of knowledge stacked up in that brain, because I don't know shit about poison control. I think that would be a super cool topic to deep dive. We might have to if you're down for it, we might have to do like a covering on that at some point. I think that would be really good for the folks at home who don't know anything about it.
Yeah, I could see that, you know, coming up, because we are kind of like the DGen Roundtable seems to be, you know, expanding. We're no longer just crypto, but now we're moving into fitness. You know, you've already been moving everybody into like meetups and fun times together, you know. So yeah, we're expanding with many different sections. So, you know, there might come a time where we've got like, you know, education type stuff outside of, you know, things that just in general will help you with life, you know. And I think that something like that could come across, you know.
That'd be super cool. Mrs. McGettit, I'm going to toss it over to you, and Zenith, I'm going to finish up your way. But Mrs. McGettit, what do you think about children entering the workforce? I know that you're a mother as well, and at some point your child is going to have to enter the workforce and go out and create things and make the world a better place in exchange for money and resources and things. What do you think about kids getting a taste, or kids dabbling in adult stuff? Wow, that's a terrible way to phrase it. In trading time and calories for like money via creating a value for like the world, you know, just like interacting
growing
with
up
other human beings and growing up. Yeah, sort of, but specifically in the realm of like, hey, I provide a service to get money as like a means to continue surviving, you know,
So
like
growing
essentially
up and learning to add value to the world or society.
yeah, like I see us all having jobs as basically being human money printers, bro. Like we're money printers. We go out and we trade resources by like we apply our skills and our knowledge to resources, and we trade that for money, right? So like Mrs. McGettit, I want to throw it over to you and get your thoughts on this. What do you think about kids starting in the workforce and things?
I think it's pretty much essential, honestly. One of the things that keeps popping into my mind for this conversation is there was a South Park episode that's randomly like in the back of my head where I don't remember exactly the details, but like they had a mishap where like office jobs basically became like useless, and anybody who knew how to like build or like fix, like so like plumbers and electricians and you know, the people who build houses, carpenters, sorry, I forgot what that was called for a minute, et cetera, became like very important in their at the beginning of the episode. They're like, he's like, my oven broke, and his wife keeps nagging at him to fix the oven. He's like, okay, calls the guy, can you come fix my oven? He's like, I can get to you in maybe like 2 months or something. He's like, what the hell? So he gets mad about it, and then he's like, I'm sorry, I'm busy, and this guy offered me more money. And so he's like, all right, let's go to the Home Depot and pick up the guys who are always sitting around outside, get one of them to come fix my oven. He gets to the Home Depot, and all the office workers are standing around outside like, does anybody need accounting? Does anybody need a lawyer? They're all like trying to advertise themselves, and all the
in front of the Home Depot or whatever?
Yeah, the fixer-upper guy comes driving by in like this big, expensive vehicle, and he looks at him, he's like, you guys need to get a job. And so... And it was just like a complete reversal where the people who have those high-end jobs now were like in the place of those people that we now look down upon and think that they're not as good as us because they took on a trade instead. And, you know, they come and fix your toilets. And it was just, that's always kind of stuck with me because those skills are so essential. And
Mhm.
you know, that episode really emphasizes how much in today's world people don't think about that. They don't care about that. They don't know any of this stuff. I mean, how many people nowadays fix their own cars?
Oh man,
Poor
not a lot.
people like me.
Okay, you
Yep.
guys don't count. You guys are here.
Yep. We're
Don't look at me like
blue-collar,
that,
we don't
Zenith.
count.
I can pay somebody to fix it, or I can save that money and put it in the crypto.
Exactly.
There you go.
But yeah, so that's the biggest thing for me when it comes to my little one. I very much want him to have handyman type skills. I think they're super important, especially for just like a basic family life too. You know, if you're going to start a family, I think it's really important that somebody in the household at least knows how to do a lot of the basic fixer-upper things, so that you're not, yeah, thank you, you're not constantly spending money on all this small little things that pop up, because owning a home is difficult. I mean, if you've rented most of your life, you can't really know that. And I feel like a lot of people have kind of fallen into that hole where they rent way too much for like their whole lives, and then they always have somebody else coming in to fix the stuff, and it's not their problem. So then they just never learn how to do it. So
Well, not only that, I think there's some pride in fixing up your property, like if it's your
Yeah.
stuff. Like,
Yeah, I
like
very much agree.
nobody's gonna do it the way you're gonna do it. If you hire somebody to do it, they're gonna try to do it as cheaply and slam it out as quick as possible. If it's yours, on the other hand, like you take pride in that work, you're gonna care about how you do it.
I'm gonna hire you, farmer.
Nah,
There we go.
I don't do side work.
It's reminds me, Sam. One of the things that Sam says all the time in our personal call, because we talk about like business owning and things, is like the person who cares the most about a business is the owner, right? The person who cares the most about the house is the owner. The person who cares the most about like a child's education is the parent. You know, the person who's in charge is going to have the and has to deal with the thing is going to have the most investment. So if that person also has the know-how, and they have the means and like the wealth and the skill set to take care of all this stuff, that would be excellent. And the sooner that you can get that information, that knowledge, the sooner you can get that 10,000 hours and become like a subject matter expert and stuff. So I like that, Mrs. McGettit. That's a good. Farmer Jay, looks like you got something there, brother.
I was gonna say 10,000 hours is like you okay, but in order to be like that guy, you know, you're gonna need a lot more than 10,000 hours. Like, it just
10,000
makes you
hours.
yeah, it makes you very competent at 10,000 hours. But if you
It's
want,
just the
like,
beginning.
yeah, it is. It actually is. Like it's at that point where, like, what most trades, right? 8,000 hours to 10,000 hours is when you become a journeyman. You know, but
Yep.
you're still just at the beginning of that stage as well.
Yep. That is absolutely correct as well. But that person, they'll have enough like foundational level information that they know where they can go look for other things, you know. So it's like this really cool like sliding scale of knowledge. I'm gonna go ahead and throw this over to Zenith, who had the outstanding comment earlier that the children yearn for the mines, and it's one of my favorite Minecraft quotes as well. Is that the children just can't get away from the coal mines? They yearn for the mines. Zenith, what do you think about kids entering the workforce?
They yearn for the mines, Will. I mean, it's a fun fact. If anybody who plays Helldiver 2, go look for the data pads. Every once in a while, you'll find a picture of a pre-war child with a pickaxe slung over their shoulder and a smile on their face. That
God,
was actually
dude,
in the game. Fun fact.
Damn it, I wish you hadn't have said that game, bro. Oh man, I haven't played video games in so long, and then I went to my friend's house and I saw they were playing Helldiver 2, and I was like, what is that? And they began to explain to me that it's basically Starship Troopers, a video game, but super funny and super fun and awesome. And then I played it a little bit, and bro, I'm a video game addict, and I had been clean for about a year, and then now it's just like that war drum is a drumming, and I hear the feet a coming, and I just can't resist.
Don't do it.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yep, there it is. Helldivers. Oh, bro, that looks like such a fun game. But to not get distracted from the main point, and not to tempt me any further, you evil demons that are tempting me. What do you think about the kids in the mines? Oh man, hell here! God damn it, Centurion, get out of here with
Well,
that.
So first off, Farmer Jay had a really good point, and he also straight up called me out because I wear many hats at my day job. One of them is a project manager, aka professional useless person. So, yep, that was me. I produce paperwork. That is what I output in life. I make paperwork and problems. I allege that I manage time, scope, and scale. However, the truth is I spent an entire week trying to schedule a building manager to let me go look at the system that I'm trying to get some other people to renovate so I can also get other people to help do the design for said renovation.
Can I have your job?
Anyways, what?
Can I have your job?
I mean, maybe. Sure, they're probably hiring. Yeah. Anyways, the point being, though, is that the death of shop is honestly a really sad thing. And to Mrs. McGetti's point, it's like, yes, South Park is honestly on the ball just about 5 to 10 years early. And the truth is that this is, I think I was on Rags to Riches stream yesterday. He was asking, like, what jobs are going to be AI proof? And I was like, can't get AI to fix your toilet or unclog it. And it's like, that's the truth right there.
I don't know about that, man. AI is and robotics are advancing so far. Like there's these robots that can literally put up drywall, paint. They can clean your toilets. They can clean whole stadiums of toilets. So at the project I'm at right now, there's full bars that have nobody behind the counter.
Holy shit.
They're like probably the size of the room I'm in, and there's about 50 cameras in there. There's literally a gate that opens. You have to scan your information. You can pick whatever you want. Hot food's ready, drinks. You grab it, the camera reads your face and charges you on your way out. You never interact with a person.
Yep.
Well, no, you do interact with people. They're just there's 1,000 people in a call center in Bangladesh that are
no,
AI.
This is completely. This is AI.
The auto checkout feature.
No, it's AI. It's AI.
I hear you. So the pushback I'll give people on AI stuff is like, yes, it's very powerful. However, it's powerful to a point, which is that it's like a CNC machine. It is very good at doing exactly what it does. However, at the same time, unless it is programmed or has sensors to know when things are going horribly wrong, it will mess up at some point.
Oh,
like,
they're
look up
gonna mess up.
the CNC machine compilations where it's like it does like very beautiful, precise measurements, and then it jacks up one thing and just destroys everything, and like the bit explodes and it's going wrong. And the answer is like the program thinks that it is doing what it needs to do properly. However, some disc or some motor slipped, so now it's out of place and it's out of whack or calibration, and now it thinks it's on the dead center, but instead it's actually 6 inches over to the left where there's nothing there. And it's like this same thing applies to a lot of other automated systems out there, which is that it has to be self-correcting.
Yeah,
and until it gets self-correcting, it's not going to get there.
Yeah,
So
but
it's
the
like
thing about it, we're at the very beginning.
Yeah.
And things just get better as time goes on. We're literally at the beginning. They're just implementing this stuff for market use. They're just implement. And yeah, there's going to be like failures, like you said. And hopefully when in our lifetime, it doesn't take our jobs. But like, that's why you hear all this talk about UBI, because a lot of jobs are going to be isolated. Like,
UBI
I
is
hope
a
not
lie.
personally
We
as a tradesman.
learn-
Fuck no, I want to do that shit myself. But
Okay.
we all
Even
know
if
that we all know that companies, corporations want to pay the least, right? How do you get that to do it? You automate stuff.
So I'll go ahead and jump in here. So basically, when we're coming down to a certain point where we're not necessarily trying to figure out how to make the AIs better for working. Instead, what we're trying to do is we're trying to make the AIs think for themselves. Well, AGI has been confirmed. So now that we have general intelligence, they're going to be able to think and be able to take care of themselves. Here's the thing that they're doing, though. They're having them talk to each other. So now we got the average AI is at an IQ of approximately about 150 right now. And so as they keep talking to each other, they're going to continue to grow. So there's going to be a huge amount of growth that's going to happen very quickly as these AIs continually talk to each other and figure out problems that we humans have been unable to figure out. They've already been solving a lot of the diseases around the world by talking to each other. And that's these are the stupid ones right now too. They're not even as smart as like say upwards to like 1,000 IQ. So what's going to end up happening is sometime here decently in the future, like maybe 20 years or less, there's going to come a point where humans are going to have only robots doing all of the work, and we humans will no longer really need to do the work. So I guess you could say we humans are going to have an evolution point where we need to figure out how we're going to be living, maybe something like a universal income might actually be important.
I've
right?
seen this movie. It's called The
Guys, I'm
Terminator.
going to bring us back down to earth a little bit here. So to get back to the sci-fi book, I think this actually ties into one of the points
Good
we
idea.
wanted to talk about.
I did an entire
I
video.
know we always go on AI rants, so I apologize to the audience because I'm sure we've done this a million times. All right, so one of the quotes that I wrote down for this chapter was Richard Hart wants you to ask the question, how is technology and progress helping you achieve the goals that you want to achieve? And in particular, when he talks about fighting technology, which is that eventually technology is going to get better to the point where you are competing with it. And Richard Hart talks about the idea that you need to compete with it in different ways that it is incapable of competing on. And specifically, for an example, when it comes to the AI stuff, it is like the AI, especially with what we have right now, not regenerative, but it is a predictive text generator, which means that it is only able to read what has already been put into it. What I mean by that is that it has a database to pull from, but it is never going to come up with a novel or creative idea. Now, where you can come in with your gray matter brain is that you can actually come up with new ideas. You are able to create fiction. You are able to have creativity, dreams, imagination, nightmares, as we'll get into in a little bit. It's like you have the ability to create new things that the AI is not. The AI can only ever remix. So when it comes to the idea that using technology and progress to help you achieve the goals you want to achieve, it is saying that use the technology available. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. Like, I have bad news for people that are trying to hand chisel wheels for cars right now out of stone. We have evolved past that. So if your goal is to sell the most wheels, you should find a better way to do that. And
there goes my freaking plans.
Sorry, Mrs. Producer, I know. But in specific with like what we are doing right now is that all of us have identified that the crypto space is kind of the bleeding edge when it comes to investment, like personal investment and honestly corporate scale investment. So we all have kind of arrived at this same point, whether we realize it or not, which is that we're trying to use progress and technology to better our own lives, and we're trying to be at the forefront of it. So that's where crypto is, in our opinion, and it makes sense when you take Richard Hart's words into context.
I'm gonna take a moment here to expound a little bit on the thing that you were talking about there, Zenith, with making technology that allows us to or using technology that will allow us to use our brains more for having ideas and less for like doing the unimportant stuff that like AI can take over, right? It's essentially the same thing as like, do we want to use a tractor for plowing the field, or do we want to use the horse-drawn plow, right? Which thing is more effective at what? Do you want to memorize a shit ton of multiplication tables, or do you want to buy a calculator, right? Like there's a whole bunch of things that you can do, and one of the ones I want to focus on, and I talked about this on I'm pretty sure it was on our last stream covering Sci-Vive, but there's a dude out there named Tiago Forte, and he has come up with this system called Building a Second Brain. And so I went ahead and I dropped that link in the chat, buildingasecondbrain.com. And then I'm also going to pull up his Twitter. Oh, just kidding. I guess he has deactivated his Twitter for Tiago Forte. Anyways, the thing that this guy does is he talks about how to essentially use like note taking and then combine that with technology in order to build a better version of like your memory and have like a quick response way to access like things that you have found or things that are important, or to combine ideas that you have thought of, and all this stuff. And it revolves around using your phone, using Excel spreadsheets, using note-taking apps, using like your camera on your phone. You know, like we all do this when we went to school or whatever, where like the teacher would have something on the whiteboard and we'd take a picture of it instead of like sitting there and taking notes. It's like incredibly inefficient or whatever. We all use our technology to basically store information, whether it's like note taking or whether it's like capturing a cool memory, or it's like you have a moment of inspiration while you're in the shower and you're like, oh shit, oh my lights just went out. Better turn my car on before I kill the battery. There we go. All right. But yeah, so anyways, this Tiago Forte building a second brain, he does this really cool he has created this really cool program that attacks all of those things. So that's the thing that I think is the really cool technology that will help us basically like jump past all this other stuff. What are some of your guys' thoughts? What are you guys some thoughts on the panel over here? It looks like never mind, I can't see who's unmuted. Nate's unmuted. Go ahead, Nate.
Yeah, well, I mean, the reason why ChatGPT blew up the way it did is because you can simply ask this AI just questions, learn about it instantly, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you can also take like an entire book and you can say, hey, can you condense this down to the most important part?
Yep.
And then there you go. So, I mean, for Pete's sakes, you can you can write entire essays off of it. I mean, you created an entire book, you know?
Yep, I did. I did write a book using AI.
Yeah. So, you know, it's just everything's getting faster. The thing technology has always done is it's always sped up every single aspect of life that we humans have always had. I mean, just using transportation itself, right? First, we had freaking horses. Okay. Horses are fast enough. And then we got ourselves into cars, and cars can go quite fast, just a little bit faster than horses, just a tiny bit. And then, and then we had planes. Planes went fast, even faster than cars, right? And then we got jets. And next thing you know, we're breaking the sound barrier, right? We're going faster than sound. So, I mean, yeah, technology overall has just continually been advancing us humans in general.
Yeah, I think the same, kind of to Cena's point that, yeah, technology is going to advance and it's going to take over a lot of stuff. But like what he said, that it's still, there's some stick that like each individual has their own creative mind. And I don't think AI can ever replicate that. Like we all have different problem skills. We all look at the same problem and come up with different solutions. And AI is just going to go based on all the data that it has, everything that's been compiled, but that doesn't give to like people's individual creative mind, like somebody that makes individual woodwork pieces, somebody that makes custom tables. Like AI is not going to take over that. Anything that's custom comes from each person that has that creative mind that can do that kind of work. Like you're never going to get rid of that. But the problem is that it's going to get rid of a lot of jobs. There will be that few amount of people that are just so unique that you can't replicate them. But yeah, we'll just have to see where it goes, because like I said, we're at the beginning stages. We don't know if society's going to reject this kind of technology, that it's too intrusive. Because like when I look at that bar, like I said, at work, they're all over the place. I don't like them. Like I don't want to go there. There's all these cameras looking at you at all time. Like I do not want to go there.
Yeah.
One of the reasons I think, or one of the main themes that comes out in this chapter for me, is the idea that Richard Hart wants people to live efficiently. They want to make sure that their life is spent properly doing the things that they're best at. So when we look at this, I think that there's kind of two acknowledgments here. One is that just by existing in the time that we exist, we stand on the shoulders of giants that came before us, which is that do not have the hubris to think that you invented everything yourself. There is so much of what you know that was years and decades and eons or millennia of just toil that people spent trying to wrap their heads around things and define things and like generate systems and procedures that we just take for granted. Like, I know this is super nerdy, but I was thinking about this the other day. It's like how when you get a camera mount and you want to be able to plug your camera into a tripod, that specific like thread and that bolt that plugs into the bottom of the camera, that is a designed system that has been regulated and standardized over decades at this point, where we finally all arrived at the same conclusion, which is that that bolt has to have a specific diameter. The threads have to have a specific pitch, and it can't be different. And it all has to work in conjunction on both sides, which is that there is so much stuff that is set up before us previously that you have to be able to understand what was built for you and what you can do on top of it. Although I will admit, there's a bit of a... I think that there is a little bit of a contradiction inside of the chapter itself, though, which is that one of the things Richard Hart talks about is that you want to make sure that you are able to operate at the highest level you possibly can, even if it is not that high. And that's in direct contrast with the idea that you need to operate in the ways that other things and other people are not. So from an economic standpoint, the idea of a competitive advantage is that when you compare one thing to another, there will always be a competitive advantage in the production based on those two things. Even if one person is on an absolute value able to produce more, there is a way to maximize the output between both of those people. However, this really only works for one standpoints. And when you start to apply this on a large scale, like societal scale, you start running into the issue, which is that if you have people operate at the best that they can, doing the best that they can, unfortunately, they're just going to be so outclassed in pretty much every way by a lot of other people in that space, where that their time is honestly not spent efficiently. So for me, this is kind of one of those things where it's like Richard Hart wants you to understand your place in the world, but he also wants people to try to spend their life in a meaningful and an effective way. And I think that the reality is that for maybe like the second or third standard deviation of people on the left-hand side of the bell curve, it's just not going to be possible. So it seems like this is very 50% like advice, but it doesn't even apply to 100% of the population, which is understandable.
That's so that makes sense. I like it. I'm gonna toss it over to Sam to get your thoughts on this, and then Mrs. Magetta as well. And if you guys have anything, excellent. And if not, we'll move on to the next topic. Sam, do you have any thoughts on technology and improving technology improving our lives and how we can maximally use it?
Yeah, so I mean, I think it's gonna filter down through like everything else does. Like people are gonna use it to the max, and like the people that go like the most extreme with anything are gonna come out on top, and there's gonna be a range all the way from that to people who don't use it at all. And it's just like anything else. Like some people use steroids, some people don't, and like it just depends on the goals you're trying to accomplish. And if you're just like you don't want to go start a business, you don't want to go do these crazy things, you're just happy to be a guy who's got a clean lawn and like with a really small house in this cute little neighborhood that's from like the 50s or whatever, and like that's cool for you, and like that makes you content and that solves your problem, and like maybe you go around and deliver newspapers to your people, and like you find some way to provide value, and like that's where you want to be, then great. Like it's not meant for you. And like, yeah, there's going to be like super bajillion gazillionaires who figured out how to solve all these problems with AI, and they've got these huge successful companies and all these properties and businesses and stuff going on. It's like, yeah, it's just one more thing, like on top of all of the other tools that we already have. Like to speak a little bit to the point about like standing on the shoulders of giants, like my entire business concept for drawing plans is possible because somebody came up with a really good software solution. I like that's what makes me better. Like it combined with the other stuff that I have, but I wouldn't be able to do any of that if someone hadn't built that tool for me to use. And so, it's available for everybody else to use if they decide to pay for it. But
I don't know about that, Sam. I think it saves you time in doing what you're doing. Like you said, it's very valuable. But like that skill set is something you have. Like somebody builds that software right, you have to learn how to use it because you have a particular skill set. Like you said, you draw plans, right? But those come from your brain. That software is a tool you use to utilize your brain to draw out these things. But like you said, yeah, it does make like some of these software things, they make life way easier. They save you so much time and helping utilize the talent you already have.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair. I'd say that.
Mrs. Magetta, I'm going to toss it over to you. What do you think are some good technological thoughts or implications that would help people maximize the way that they understand the world and interact with the world?
I'm just looking for the time when we can get robots like the one in the Jetsons
to do the family stuff and whatnot.
Yeah, to do everything. I love that thing.
We got the Roombas. We've got the automated coffee makers.
That's where I was about to go.
Yeah. We just need somebody to combine them.
There you go. We have a Roomba and we have a Keurig, so I guess we're going strong in that category. But in my opinion, there's kind of a fine line between going too far with this, like Farmer has mentioned, taking away everybody's jobs at that point, versus actually being useful to just like a small scale where it's ease of life thing. For like example, we've got the Roomba that I can have go around, and then I don't have to worry about vacuuming every day. And that's very convenient because it takes a long time. Like vacuuming, you got to move everything. You got to, you know how to vacuum, I'm assuming. But anyways,
A Roomba with a Keurig on top that also can cook things and like wash clothes and fold things. That would be a good combo. I'm sure there's other things that I'm forgetting in there. Maybe
Roomba's
carrying like
getting a
around
big
a little
upgrade.
duster.
Make
Yeah.
pancakes.
Whoever. Yeah, make pancakes. You know, everything. Combine it all into one. You put it's just the jack of all trades robot. It's like
And-
what's that?
And make
What's
a
that,
decent
Mr.
drink.
Yes, it'd be like Mr. Handy from if anyone's ever played Fallout, those robots that fly around everywhere. I'm pretty sure they're called Mr. Handy. That for some reason always have like a circular saw because I guess a lot of things need cutting. But anyways, I'm
They
gonna go
also
ahead
have
and
a
we're gonna.
blowtorch.
Yeah, they do, don't they? Oh
Yeah.
man, dude, I'm gonna need a what? Okay, we're not gonna go down to Fallout. We're not gonna go down to Fallout thing because fucking I'm gonna get so tempted, and we're gonna talk about this forever. The next topic of conversation, I'm gonna show you guys a little diagram that I drew here, but this is something that Richard had said. Let's see if I can get this with the light on it. Oh, I can. Oh, well, we don't really need the light. But the idea is like one of the central ideas to the whole topic is that spirit is the cycle of wanting, getting, being satisfied, never staying on any one of those three topics for too long. Oh, there we go. Wow. Okay, let me see if I can adjust this so I get a little bit of light on it. But the cycle of spirit is wanting, getting, being satisfied, wanting again, getting the stuff, then being satisfied. And you just go in that cycle over and over and over again. If you dilly-dally in one of those areas too long, then your life gets all messed up, you know. If you're stuck in the wanting phase, then you never realize any success, then you're not going to be like satisfied or content with life. If you're always just getting things and you never like want stuff and you never go through the satisfied phase, then it's the same sort of problem. And then if you're always stuck in the satisfaction area, then you never have the desire to go out and get things accomplished, and you have no drive to like get better. I would say like that part I would almost compare to like the warring classes of Europe throughout history and like the happy people of Hawaii. It's like the happy people of Hawaii never developed like a war culture, and so they just got steamrolled by America when America said like, hey, we want to come in and take all your pineapples, and now you belong to us, and things of that nature. There's something to be said for people who have everything, and they never have to fight for stuff, and they never have to strive, and they never have to work hard. They don't necessarily appreciate, or not appreciate. That's the wrong word, but they oftentimes lose the ability to retain control over their culture when compared to someone else. That's one of the things that I talk about from time to time. And I want to do another quick little quote here. Actually, two quotes. One is, if you're already happy, then why bust your ass in pursuit? And then the second one is, don't jump off a good wave you're currently riding to chase a potential wave that you see in the future. So all this stuff sort of kind of ties in with happiness, chasing dreams, being satisfied, and things of that nature. So I want to go ahead and open it up to you guys for a conversation. What are your thoughts on this cycle? Like the cycle that I showed you in the beginning, the chase of desiring, achieving, being satisfied, desiring, achieving, being satisfied. Basically that repetitive loop that I think really like follows you around through your entire lifespan. What are you guys thoughts on that?
Well, I can tell you right now that's human psychology. It's the hunt, eat, be merry, and now we have to go hunt again, right?
And get hungry again. Yeah.
We're still creatures out on the Serengeti, right? We're still, our instincts are 300,000 years old versus the last 200 years that we've had the technology to really stop having to be like that. Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, it's all the punishment and reward system, quite frankly, because able to get rewarded, right? You have to actually go hunt something, like get it, and now you get rewarded, and that rewarding basically gets us wanting to do it again. So it's just instincts, quite frankly. And it's
Mhm.
because of this that we've had 300,000 years of survival. And also we have gotten to the point where we are the apex species on the planet by a large margin. There is no contest. So, you know, it's probably one of the most vital things in human psychology.
I'm gonna pipe right in and say that like this has to be some of the best relationship advice ever given, right? The circle of like you want, you get, you're content, and it's like it just keeps going, right? You meet a pretty girl on the street, and you get to date her or whatever, and then you see a hotter one the next day. Just like the cycle repeats. It's beautiful.
There's a so
This
I know
coming
that
from little Chadwick over here.
I like where you're going with this, and I'm gonna give a different interpretation for the folks at home who don't know that you're joking. I know that you're joking. What are the
No,
what are the
he's
important
not.
things?
Look at him, bro. I've met Sam in real life, bro. He's a little chatter. Look at him, bro.
This
He's
is
all
true.
tall, he's fit. You know.
This
He
is
doesn't
this
have
is
a
true. But
recessed chin. You know, he's got no issues, bro. You know, but good luck to him out here, man. I wish him nothing but the best.
Yeah, too bad about his brother though.
there is something no so there's for real like good advice in there that it's like like if you take this and you apply it to like a single relationship, you need to go through that cycle where there's a desire, there's an actualization, there's a contentment with the results. You have to go through the cycle. If you're stuck in one of those things, if you're always happy, you know, if you're always happy, then you get comfortable, you get complacent, you lose the spark, you lose the zizzle, you lose the zazz. You need to constantly be going through this whole fucking cycle. You need to want, you need to get, you need to be satisfied, then you need to do it all over again. It's like it's kind of like that stupid age-old advice of like, oh, we need to have a date night once a week or whatever. It's like it's bad literal advice, but the concept is good, where you need to constantly basically be like, if you're not always sharpening your sword's going to get dull, you know, from hacking through all the bodies and doing all the whatever the heck. You need to constantly be sharpening this bitch. You need to have it's a constant process. It's not an end state. That's basically the thing that I would add to that. And you know, like there is something to be said for going out and being able to attract people. That is very important. Mrs. McGettit, what are your thoughts on the cycle?
I was gonna say there's also something to be said with just sleeping with one partner and not catching an STD.
Yes, that is a wonderful thing as well. Mrs. McGettit, I want to toss it over to you. What do you think about the cycle of desire, achieve, be happy, desire, achieve, be happy?
Well, I'm gonna take it back away from the relationship talk, personally. But for me, I thought this was a very, very good point, and it wasn't really something that I had like consciously thought about before.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that I've said before, and I pissed people off when I said this because they were just aggressive humans and they took it the wrong way because that's what they wanted to do. But anyways, I tried to tell someone once that humans always need something to fight for, and what I meant by that was like a cause. They assumed I meant like going out and fist fighting people. I'm like, dude, no, that has nothing to do with anything. But anyways, and that's to me, that's what this is basically saying. Like when you lose a purpose, like when you have no more purpose, you have nothing left that you want. You have nothing left that you want to do. You have nothing left to accomplish. You have nothing left to collect. When you hit that point, you're not happy anymore. Like there are millions of, well, not millions, but there are tons of rich people out there who are unhappy. There are a lot of rich people out there who have, you know, tragically taken their own lives because they were so miserable. So money in itself has nothing to do with happiness. The having a passion to do something with your life and with your time, something that you are excited to continue doing and to continue working towards, whatever that may be, is extremely important for humans. So yeah, I completely agree with it.
Excellent. Zenith, what about you, brother? What do you think about the cycle?
So I might have a slightly different take on this one, but I think it's pretty much in the same vein as everyone else. I mean, right off the bat, this one I think is the start of the chapter for a reason, because I think this is really one of the best nuggets from this chapter, which is this cycle. I actually wrote it down as 4 steps, which is want, get, be satisfied, repeat. And I think that this is kind of a bit of wisdom that we've seen in some of the other books that we're talking about. Specifically, $100 Million Offers comes to mind when Alex Hormozi talks about the journey, about the reason to play the game and be good at the game, and understand that there is winning the game, but there's no win the game. There's no like solid state end. And the same thing goes with happiness, as Richard Hart talks about in this one. I think one of the mental traps that people kind of fall into is that we believe that it's linear, is that you want, you get, and you are satisfied, and that repeat does not come in. But the truth is, when you do listen to the people that have been there, that have achieved it, that have seen the apex of the mountain or whatever, the summit, excuse me, they understand that they play the game because they love playing the game. It is that we build ourselves up our entire lives, not because we want to be old, rich, and accomplished one day, but because the journey itself is worth doing to get there. I know, obviously, I mentioned it before, but I'll mention it again. We're obviously crypto investors. We are trying to make money. I want to watch that number go up so my dopamine receptors go like that is what I'm here for. That is my thing. That is what I do when I play video games. Is I watch that number and the stash
we were in
go up.
crypto because we like to suffer.
Well, I mean that, or I'm just in it for the text. So
I'm just crazy.
That too. Nate just likes gambling on the meme coins, so I can respect that. It's its own thing entirely. But the point of what I'm getting at here is that I think, to Mrs. McGettitt's point, it's like when you look at case studies like Charlie Sheen, it's like this person who was at the apex of their peak. Like they were so good at acting, they got this role on TV where they just played themselves. Like Charlie Sheen was just playing Charlie Sheen. And what did he do? He eventually got into just banging hookers until he got STDs and then drug ODing. And it's like,
hell yeah.
It's like
living
this
a good
person
life.
who exactly. So to the layman,
Specific
you would
STD, a specific STD.
exactly. But to the layman, you would look at this person and you would say that this person wanted, they got, and they were satisfied so much to the point that they were no longer satisfied. And it's kind of what you get to that question. It's like, why did he go do all the things that he did? And it's because there was no repetition of this cycle. It was like Charlie Sheen achieved everything and they just had nowhere else to go. Therefore, you kind of saw his soul just start to die a little bit. And it's important to have the repetition in this. And like, I hope, or I know that when all of us here kick so much butt, that we make so much money we don't know what to do with, that we don't get tired of the game. If anything, we find new or different games to play, or we honestly just double down and keep seeing how high we can get this number to go. Like
There's always a new mountain to chase.
Exactly. I know the CCP literally ripped off one of my old YouTube channels, so maybe one day I would like to get to the point where I have stacked so much Bitcoin that I personally bankrupt the CCP. I want to.
There you go.
I want vengeance.
Yeah, that is one thing. Have you guys actually thought about that? Because like I've got an entire plan out of like step by step. I'm going to do this, go into that, and it's like always a bigger whale to chase.
I guess it's whatever your mindset is, like what you want out of life. Some people just want to make enough to just disappear and not work another day. Like they want enough to buy a piece of land somewhere in the middle of nowhere and buy enough stuff to build out a plot where they can just live self-sustained. Their own power grid, their own water, everything they need just there, just contained within that compound, whether it be gardening, livestock, all that stuff. Some people are just that's all they want. They don't want a complicated life. Some people want to go on yachts. Some people just want to live in the middle of nowhere.
Barbara J, I hear what you're saying, and I think that I was that way for a long time too. But honestly, through a lot of the research and the learning that we've been doing here, it's like my brain tells me I want to get to the point where I never have to work again. But then when we look at stuff like the retirement stats and even the argument surrounding like raising retirement age and whatnot, there's people that are very much attached to that dream and want it to be attainable. But then there's the other half of the people that know that the grass is not greener on the other side. And it's like the majority of people that retire die within 9 years of retirement because they lose that purpose. They lose the continuation of this cycle that we're talking about, which is the want, get, be satisfied. Because it's like that's their entire life is they wanted, they got it, they were satisfied for a little bit, and now they just die. It's like, I am going to die at some point in the future. I mean, right now I always joke that I'm trying to win at living to 35, but at some point we are we are going to die, but I don't want to die because I lost purpose or motivation. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, but like what I was talking about, like when people that just want to be in the middle of nowhere, if you choose to do nothing, you are gonna die. Like nobody's coming to save you. Like, so I think it keeps like, yeah, because like even in the trades, you hear about people die when they retire. Like you'll see these old ass men on the job that's like 70. He won't retire, but he won't die either. And then you'll see a guy that hits 60 whenever he's allowed to retire, whether it be like 56, 57, or 65, depending on the trade. And like a couple years after, they deteriorate and they lose purpose and they die. Like there's an old saying in Spanish. What is it?
Los que los.
No, there's a saying in Spanish that says, a sick man that eats doesn't die. You know, like if he's still eating, he's still trying. So basically what it's saying is that if you're not trying to live, if you don't have purpose, you're gonna die. You know, like if you don't have, like you said, you don't have purpose. People that retire, they die because they lose routine. They stop doing stuff. They just sit at home and they're just waiting to die. They're literally waiting to die. That's what they're doing. And if you're waiting to die, you're gonna die. But if you're out here living in the middle of nowhere and you're living to live, like every day's a struggle. You have to cut up and cut your own firewood. You have to cut your own meat. You have to harvest your own food. If you don't do these things, there's no supermarket for you to go to.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think there's people like that, and there's people that want to do city living. It depends on what you want personally. You know, like what do you want to do? Like, do you want a nice peaceful life, or do you like the engagement of being in big crowds where there's people at? Do you like being at the marinas? Do you like this event? And I think that's something we have to ask ourselves personally. If we do get what we want out of crypto, what do we want to do? Not what the crowd wants, but what's going to make us personally happy.
You know, and this kind of cycles back around to kind of what Zena said in the very beginning, where it's kind of like a mindset. This entire chapter has basically been kind of like a look into the mindset of how to become happy, so to say. I know that a lot was talking quite a bit about like how can we be satisfied as humans, you know, and happiness is a part of the satisfaction. However, the thing is that happiness itself is simply a motivator. It is a satisfaction point, which then brings us to the motivator, which is depression, right? Most people who have achieved whatever it is that they've been trying to achieve then are happy for a while, you know, but then all of a sudden they start becoming very depressed, and it's because there's nothing else to chase, so to say. And so humans in general, like I said from the very beginning, this is instinct for us. We need to go out and get something, go out and do something. That's something we absolutely vitally have to have. And so what ends up happening is as soon as we no longer need anything, we no longer need to go get something, which is kind of the scary thing about if AIs take over and basically create a utopia where that happens with us, then what, right? So, and I guess the adventure there, the chase is like, well, now what are we going to do? You know, and try and figure it out from there.
Who started telling people we're supposed to be happy? Like, I don't get this nonsense that we're supposed to be happy. Like,
we're not supposed to be happy.
Life
but
is not about being happy. It's about
supposed to chase to become happy. Happy.
I don't think life is about happy. Like, where do we get this idea that we're supposed to be happy? Like that we're supposed to be happy, that we need to be happy? No, like if we
farmer. Have you never heard the age-old American saying, "Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness"?
Yeah, but who told us we're supposed to be happy? Like happiness isn't like a given. You're supposed to earn that shit.
Well, that's the point. That's what everybody's saying.
Yeah, you're supposed to like earn it, but people think that happiness is just a given, and it's not.
Oh, yeah, people think it should be handed to them. I get what you're saying.
Like, well, a lot of people have an entitled mindset that everything's supposed to be handed to you, and that's not.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't realize that even if they were handed that, it wouldn't make them happy. Nobody can hand
it's not,
you
because if
happiness.
you don't earn it, it's not going to make you happy. You're supposed to earn it.
If you're a poor person, you think, oh, if I just had the money, I'd be so happy. And then somebody gives you the money, guess what? You're still not gonna be happy. You'll find something else.
Just like people
think, or you'll waste all the money.
Relationships are supposed to be happy all the time. They're not. They're hard work. Like, relationships are supposed to be hard work, and you're supposed to commit to each other. And like they're hard work. Relationships are not easy. They're hard work. Like people think that you're just gonna be in one and be happy. No, like you're gonna have to work at it. Like it's hard work, just like everything else. Your job's supposed to be hard work. Living is supposed to be hard work. And you're supposed to, I think happiness should come from the satisfaction of knowing that you have a purpose in life. And if you're just sitting around being lazy, like you don't have a purpose in life. Like
Yep.
if you're raising children, your children are your purpose. Like you love your children and you want to see them do better. You want to see them grow up. Like, but like that gives you happiness, but it's not easy. Like if you're providing for your children and you're working hard and doing all this stuff, yeah, you're gonna be killing yourself and beating up your body, but the reward is watching your children grow and watching them grow healthy.
Do you know what the funnest thing in the world is? Going on
Yes.
an adventure, right? Everybody
Yeah.
likes going on an adventure.
I was gonna say heroin, but okay.
We're going on an adventure to go get some
Were you
heroin.
watching some Bilbo Baggins recently?
Nate, go ahead and finish off your point. I'm gonna tie it together, and then we're gonna move on to the next thing. But I wanna hear where you're going with this.
Yeah, so what's interesting is that humans absolutely love going on an adventure, right? But as soon as we reach the destination, the adventure's over and we're no longer having fun. We're just sitting there looking at the lake like, oh, cool, I'm here now. Now what? That's always the same way. So yeah, to wrap it all up, I think people just want to go on an adventure. So what adventure are you creating for your life?
Oh man. So to tie it all together, I think this is why he said like they was talking about it being a cycle as opposed to being like an end state, which I think is what you were driving at there, Farmer, is like it's a process that you have to constantly earn and stuff. And so it's not like a lot of folks, as I think you were saying, Farmer Jay, is a lot of folks think that it's an end result, it's a final destination, it's a happily ever after, and then no more work. But that is not the case. The way that it truly is it's a constant cycle. And as soon as that cycle ends, that's when you start the downward plunge into death and despair and all sorts of other things. Does that pretty much sum it up for everybody?
Yeah, pretty much. Earn every day. Earn every day you
Excellent.
live.
I like it. And on that note, we're going to move into the next quote, which is that frustration is a halt command, anger is a follow command. So we're going to explore the difference between frustration and anger from the perspective of like, so this whole chapter is about motivation, essentially. So the spirit is the chapter of spirit is like, why do we do the things that we want to do? So the thing that we're going to explore now is the negative aspects of or like the angry side of the brain, really. Frustration is a halt command. And so what I mean by that, or rather what Richard means by that, is that he describes pretty well, is that people get frustrated when they do the same thing over and over again and it doesn't work. So frustration is a stop, go find something else, or else you're going to like destroy yourself and your brain. And then anger is a follow command. So when you get angry, it inspires you to take action. When you get frustrated, it inspires you to stop action and to pursue something else. So like these two different thought concepts are how our brain goes through like negative chemical reactions in order to make us basically survive. The people who got frustrated with stuff faster are the ones that moved on to the next thing, and then they conquered that next thing, and then maybe they came back to the first thing later and figured it out. But the concept of frustration is to basically stop you from doing stuff that doesn't work, so you don't waste your time, waste your calories, waste your energy, waste all this thing and stuff of that nature. So frustration and anger. What do you guys think people can do to better harness their frustration to chase goals more like at a higher leverage rate? And what can people do to notice like their own anger to basically come to the same conclusion? So how can we use these two emotions to better leverage the way that we interact with the world? Ready, set, go. Whoever wants to take it away, go right ahead. All right.
Crickets on this one, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I've been quiet for a while, so y'all go. Y'all.
I'll take a stab at it. All right. So
Okie dokie.
in this one, there's another frustration quote that Richard has, which is that frustration is an emotion that essentially stops you from what you are doing and makes you try something else. So in that sense, frustration can be a driver to change your approach or your outlook. Because I think what the other famous quote is saying that the definition of insanity is trying the same thing over and over, expecting different results. It's like, Yeah, okay, that can be one and the same here. But the point is that to not be insane and to not be frustrated, the idea is that you want to try something new, novel, different, like switch up your approach a little bit. I think we've all seen this kind of thing where it's like specifically with like a sports team, like if something's not working out, sometimes just swapping a few people around, maybe a new quarterback, maybe new pitcher, something like that is what's going to help you get that competitive advantage back and help you really move to that next progression. So frustration is different from anger in the sense that anger is, yes, in my mind, when I think of anger, I think of like righteous anger or something like it's either deep down or it's emotional or it's guttural, which is that you are so upset by something that it actually affects your mental faculty. So this is where like the idea of like seeing red, like when you get in a fight or something, you just like lose control and you just go instinctual. So anger can be useful to help you know right from wrong, in my personal opinion. And it can also be useful in times of extreme crisis. However, at the same time, frustration is you realizing that something is not working, but you still want it to work. So that is that motivation to figure out how to make it work. So in the case of like personal growth, frustration comes in a lot. When it's like, I am frustrated that I am fat. I am frustrated I can't bench 2 plates. It's like, okay, are you going to do something about it? Or are you just going to be frustrated? And I think Richard actually has a really good quote on this one to tie in, which is that complaining is describing an event in a negative tone without indicating the next steps to fix or improve the situation. Oh, did I steal that from you?
Motherfucker, that was going to be my next quote. That's excellent. Good. No, I'm glad that you tied this in, and I would
tied together.
Yeah, I would interject a little bit on your benching topic, because I think that would be more anger. If it inspires you to do something, it's anger. If it inspires you to go, it's anger. If it inspires you to stop, it's frustration. So like frustration, like, I can't put up these fucking plates. Oh, I'm getting frustrated because I can't, because I keep trying and failing, trying and failing. And then you get angry, right? And then maybe your anger inspires you to push the plates up, or maybe you try again and you just can't do it. You get frustrated and stop, right? So like these are the beauty of these two emotions, is how well they work hand in hand with each other, and how sometimes you need to stop, sometimes you need to go, and you can use the two emotions to kind of push through there. Is that what you? Okay, go ahead.
I don't know. I had a light bulb moment while you were talking there, which is that maybe anger and frustration are kind of two sides of the same coin. And what I mean is that anger is something you feel in the moment, and frustration is what you feel afterwards, which is that I can be bench pressing and failing to hit my mark, and I can be angry about it. And then the frustration kicks in afterwards, after the anger has been gone through, which is that I was angry to be failing, and I am frustrated that I have failed. So now there is motivation to move past. I think
no, it's the same thing, Z. Anger and frustration are the same thing. Basically, though, one is more severe. Literally, so frustration isn't really anything other than getting annoyed at, or upset, or angry at something that's happening. But the actual anger phase itself is the motivation phase of the whole anger cycle. And so
when I think about it, though, it's like I imagine frustration as the rational control of anger, and anger is the irrational loss of control.
Exactly. And that's why I'm saying they're the same thing, because it's kind of like an evolution of like severity. When you get so frustrated that you lose control now, then it becomes anger. And then that motivates you to actually do something generally.
The thing that we're doing right now is we're talking about the semantics of the words. Let's focus on the concepts of the ideas, and we'll say we can all agree that the English language needs more words to describe these emotions. I think because the concept that he wants, that Richard talks about is the two emotions, one being a stop, one being a go. Let's say that we replace the word anger and the word frustration with the word chainsaw and I don't know, pile driver or something, right? So anything that gets you to stop doing something that's ineffective is chainsaw, and anything that gets you to be inspired to take other emotion, that one's pile driver. I'm probably going to forget these anyways, so it doesn't really matter. But like the
I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
it's like so frustration is the stop, anger is the go.
Correct.
Yeah, I disagree with him.
So
on
I guess
that.
what's the
well, just to talk about the idea of the concept rather than being stuck on the definitions of the literal words, because like we can play dictionary all day, and I don't think that will necessarily get us anywhere. The core concept that I want to explore here is how can we use emotions of stop and emotion of go when it's assigned to a negative thought process that makes us feel bad, right?
Well,
so we feel bad stop, we feel bad go. How can we use those to better our lives?
The way I see it is, if you feel any of these emotions, whether it be anger or frustration, they're perfectly healthy feelings to have, right? But the question, like you said, is what do you do about it? So you can cry and bitch and moan about it at night, as you're going to bed. In the morning, you need to shut up about it and find a solution. What is the solution to the problem you have? Like, it's okay to go through these emotions and have these feelings, right? And have your downtimes, your semi-depression. Okay, what the fuck are you going to do in the morning when you get up?
Exactly.
Like, it's cool. Like dwelling on it is not going to help this. It's not going to do anything for you. Like, you sitting there just mowing and weeping does absolutely nothing. What the hell are you going to do in the morning?
That you're absolutely right, Sam. I want to throw this. Oh shoot, Nate! I saw you just came off mute.
Yeah.
I'll get to you as soon as I'm done tossing this to Sam because he hasn't spoken in a while. Sam, there's a point in the day where a person has the most energy, and there's a point in the day when the person does not have the most energy. This is something that you've talked to me about many times before. Can you explain, like, to tee off of Farmer Jay there? Can you explain to the folks? Or maybe not explain to the folks, but can you briefly describe why getting things done in the morning is a little bit more effective than getting things done at nighttime?
So the general principle would be like, if you're imagining willpower as a fuel tank, right? So if you start your day with a certain set amount of ability to make difficult decisions in the moment when you're presented with them, then you're going to consume that throughout the day. And I'm not saying this is like the correct way to think about this. It's just something that happens to work for me and it makes sense to me. But I have found for myself that if I want to like be maximally efficient, then I ought to like do two things. The first thing is I need to, if I am going to, I know I'm going to do things that I'm going to make difficult decisions the next day, I'm going to make those decisions the day before. When I'm less likely to make an emotional decision in the moment, I'm going to stop and think rationally about like what's happening. What are we going to do tomorrow? What do I need to do tomorrow? And that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to take the willpower decision that I need to make the next day out of it so that the next day can just be planned. And then what happens the next day is that I have hopefully put some of the things that I really don't want to do, that I have to do, I've put them first because like those are the things that need to be done. And it's going to take like an actual amount of energy out of my brain to sit down and do them anyway. And so like, I think your original question was, what is there an importance to do things in a certain order?
Can it be used as a tool, more or less?
Yes, I would say so.
Okie dokie.
To add,
Nate,
I was going to say
go ahead.
To add to that real quick, like you were talking about doing things in order. I think he goes through it in the book too about like actually doing the things you need to do before rewarding yourself, like having a drink or doing partying or all this stuff. That shouldn't be your priority. That should be a reward for you actually getting stuff done productively in life. Like there should be an order. Like you do these things, and if you accomplish these things, you should reward yourself to a certain point.
Gotcha. Nate, you came off of mute earlier. Did you have something to add to Farmer Jay's previous thought?
Yeah, it's so basically what they're talking about, right? Or what he's talking about right now is, or what we are,
Yeah.
is the basic reward and punishment system of the human mind. So, you, as far as like emotions, like stop emotion and then go emotion, right? That's literally all that is. Any emotion that causes you to want to stop doing something is punishment. And then any reward, any emotion that is rewarding you good feelings, right, is going to be a go emotion. Continue doing what you're doing.
Excellent.
So that's just how that happens.
Okie dokie. Mrs. McGettit, I'm gonna toss it on over to you, and then we're gonna hop on into the topic of caring about things. What? Oh, I guess I should prompt you with the question. My bad. the question that I had originally posed to people is how can we use the go command, or not the go command, but the go inspiration and the stop inspiration more effectively. What are some things that the folks can think about when they get angry or when they get frustrated, or insert whatever words anyone would like? How can folks maximally use those two feelings of inspiration as motivation to change their behaviors?
Mrs. Producer, we cannot hear you.
Yes, I see that you are off mute. I do not know. There might be something wrong with her earbuds or something. We will go ahead and hold that thought, Mrs. McGettit. I'm going to go ahead and do a round of community shout-outs. I've got these fantastic starred chats here. Mrs. McGettit, whenever you are ready to test your headset, just go ahead and hop right on in. But until then, I'm going to shout out the Brothers 64. We saw them in the chats earlier. What's up, Jesus? What's up, Brother 64? Always good to see you guys in the house, hanging out, having fun. We love it. Next up, we got Charlotte Nightstar, the werewolf. Welcome, Charlotte. Welcome to our fantastic stream, where apparently I'm still learning the importance of linguistics. Oh, geez. Which wristwatches are Swiss wristwatches? Which wristwatches are Swiss wristwatches? Dang it.
I'm
Yeah, I
still
thought I could
learning
rattle
English.
it off. Turns out I can't. And then finally, we've got Moonpilled Rational Optics. Welcome, Moonpill Rational Optics. I think he popped in for a little bit. I'm pretty sure he said he was hanging out with the in-laws. So good to see you, brother. A fellow rigging expert in the field of picking heavy things up and putting them down. It's good to see you. Mrs. McGettit, can we do a quick sound check and see if the mics are working? Oh dear, we might have lost battery or lost power some way, somehow. Well, that is unfortunate. I'm going to go ahead and roll on into the next topic. We'll give you another opportunity to answer that question, because this next topic is actually pretty similar to the last one, but it's about caring. And this sort of kind of touches a little bit on what Sam had spoken about earlier on getting up in the morning and having the willpower to make decisions and things of that nature, which is why I teed off with that question with him to sort of kind of lead into this next one. Caring is a resource. Choose carefully, choose thoughtfully what you decide to care about, because the amount of things that you care about is limited. You only have so much attention, you only have so much energy, you only have so much time, you have only so much brain power. Think of all these things as like little tokens that you're spending. That's similar to the book that I had written using the AI that Nate had mentioned earlier. It's talking about like things as currencies, but caring can be considered one of these currencies. So caring is a resource. I'm gonna ask you guys a more personal question, and say, what are some things that you cared about that you wish you hadn't, or what are some things that you didn't care enough about that you wish you would have put more thought and intention into? That the people who are listening to this podcast, what are some things regarding caring that you think that the folks at home can like extrapolate a lesson out of from either your failure or from your success? So Zenith, I'm going to throw it to you first, and then we'll go around the panel round robin again, and you guys can talk about some things that you think are important things that you cared about, or unimportant things that you spent too much time on, things of that nature. Zenith, ready, set, go.
One of the critiques that I got a lot when I was younger was that I really wear my heart on my sleeve and I care about a lot of things. And I realized that it kind of was unnecessary at a certain point. And one of the things that, or the quote that I got out of the book specifically on caring was that care most about the things that are exponentially powerful now, which is that caring about things that actually matter the most currently is the best way to maximize your use of emotions and your attention span. So I could be very upset about how Commodus was a terrible Roman emperor, and he is part of the reason that the Roman Empire fell. However, I'm going to get over that because that is not important now. What is important now for me is caring about how I live my life in the moment. I can absolutely sit here and spend tons of time caring about, like, I don't know, regret, or even something potentially positive like people from high school. Although I'll be honest with you, I talk to 0 people from high school, nor do I care about any people from high school anymore. And I care about the people that are with me now and the people that I can affect now and the ones that are going to be with me in the future, because what I do now affects the people in the future. So for me, a lot of this caring is, it kind of goes back to the idea that I know Richard pitches this book as like a how-to, but it's less of like a book that says you should or you ought to do a certain thing. And this is more of Richard kind of like thinking about what is the 100% optimal solution. So the way to optimize your caring is to care about the things that are going to reap or going to give you the largest benefits. So to me, this is what stuck out, which is I care about the things that matter now and have the most impact.
High leverage caring. I like it. Nate, I'll throw it over to you next. What are some lessons about caring that you have learned that you can pass on to the folks at home, either potential, past, or present?
Yeah, I used to care a lot about the companies that I worked for, so much so that, you know, I would sacrifice my body to and time to make sure that everything was absolutely the best it could possibly be for the company. And yeah, got burned by that many times. And yeah, so what I've learned is you really need to enable for you to care about something. It's got to be something that you plan on achieving later on, right? And so, you know, there's definitely a trade-off, a utility type of trade-off when it comes to caring about stuff, right? Now, if we want to go ahead and put it this way, I care a lot about the DGen Roundtable. I care a lot about you guys in the chat, in the community. All right. I do care a lot, but I care a lot because I understand that there's going to be sometime in the future, there's going to be benefits as well for myself. Okay. So let's go ahead and say for the community right now, I help out somebody who is struggling maybe to, you know, get a transaction through or whatever, stuck transaction. I care about helping that person because I know in the future there's going to be a lot of good times where, you know, we can have fun. You know, maybe I can get a little bit of validation because obviously that's what I want.
Yeah.
And then, perhaps this person will donate some money to me, right? That's kind of what Tommy's doing right now. You know, he's caring a lot about the people, about his YouTube and about the people that he's talking to. But then he's kind of hinting, oh, by the way, if you are happy with, you know, the information I've given out, donate an ETH at me, right? And so if you really want to think about kind of like how Richard Hart, you know, thinks about the world, you know, you may say, hey, that's really selfish of you to you know, just be using people like that. But it's not, because that's how we humans help each other. I scratch your back, you scratch mine, right?
Yep.
I'm going to help you learn something that I know that you can either stand on my shoulders and improve and do a better job, or you can help somebody else later on as well. But, you know, overall, there's going to be some kind of benefit, and that's the reason why I'm going to care. Now, when I'm caring about the jobs, you know, the whole thing would be like, oh, maybe I get promoted, maybe I get more money, right? And then they just end up getting rid of you because they don't care about you, because they can just go and grab somebody else off the streets and do the exact same thing. So there's no benefit for them, right? That's ultimately what I've learned.
That's excellent, bro. I like that. That's a good analysis. And that's something I had thought about is, you know, corporate level employers and things. Sam, I'm going to toss this over to you. What are some things that the folks could could learn from some of the either mistakes you've made or things you've learned or things of that nature when it comes to deciding what they should spend their care tokens on?
Yeah, I'm gonna basically like I'm not gonna give some specifics here, but I will give the broad rule that I have learned the hard way on, and that's it sounds like everybody's kind of learned this, is that you ought to, just like Nate just said, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. Like the rule that I learned was that you shouldn't scratch the backs of people that are not going to turn around and scratch yours.
100%.
Like you can, if you want to be sacrificial and like not get anything for the things that you're giving, but like that's probably just likely to live to a life of resentment and frustration and anger, right?
Yeah, like a
So
martyr almost.
right. So don't do that. So that's the lesson that I learned, was that like, wow, I need to like I need to focus on like caring about the things that are going to yield me some kind of value, right? And that value can be in a million different ways. It can be in future value, it can be whatever. Like Bungalows for Bachelors, at some point I decided I just want to give away all the stuff that I'm learning, because what I'm getting out of it is the fact that like I want to be able to say 20 or 30 years from now that I shared enough information in just the right way that I was able to get, I don't know, 10,000 guys who could go like build their house or do something better with their lives because of something that they learned from me. And like that makes me feel good, which is why I want to invest in it. And it's like, if I can solve my money problem with crypto or however, and like that's the next thing that I'm going to want. It's kind of like Richard Hart. It's like I'm going to want the glory. Like I want to change the world. So, you should generally just not be scratching the backs of people that aren't going to scratch yours.
Excellent. Farmer Jay, you're up next, brother. What are some lessons that you have learned or that you have thought about regarding spending your caring tokens?
Just quickly to what Sam said, is nice to see that men are sharing information with other men. That's how we pass down information, how we've always done it through history, is just through the just wanting to do it. Like there's a fulfillment in wanting to pass on the information you have. But on to the question. You said initially you started with what was one thing that we cared too much about, and what
Yeah.
one thing we didn't care too much about?
Yeah. Either or. Take it however you take the question however you please.
Me personally, I'm gonna say that the not caring enough about, and I think one person growing up that I didn't care enough about was myself. Like you have to have self-care. Like nobody can ever take care of you the way you can. You should look always to take care of yourself first. And anybody that you love benefits from that. If you can take care of yourself and better yourself, you can actually put your loved ones on your back. And you also ask about who we spent too much time caring about. It's probably
Yeah.
people that don't give a crap about you.
Yep.
That don't have, that completely disregard the way you feel, your feelings. Whether it's people that use you, whether it's friends, family, we shouldn't be scared to cut family off. Sometimes family can be the most toxic thing of all. Like it doesn't matter if they're blood. Like
Yep.
if they're bad for you, then that's just what it is. You should be okay with cutting them off. Like if you've had repeated conversations with them and like the way they live their life is just detrimental to you, then you shouldn't have to deal with that, and you shouldn't. Like I said, the thing I've regretted the most is caring about myself. Like I should have been the one that looked out for me the most. Nobody loves me like me. Nobody's ever going to care about me like I care about myself. Nobody has an interest in me the way I have an interest in me. Just like everybody else here on this panel. Nobody has a bigger interest in yourself than you do. Nobody.
That is that well put, well condensed, Farmer Jay. I like that. Mrs. McGettit, we're gonna test to see if your audio is working again. I would say give me a thumbs up or something. But let's do a quick little audio check, Miss McGettit. How does your sound work?
Anything yet?
Yes, we have a great success. Excellent. Mrs. McGettit, What's
I'm sorry, that totally made me think of Borat. Great success.
a great success? Same question to you. Let's consider the topic of caring. Are there any lessons that you've learned in life about caring for something or someone too much, or not caring enough for another thing? What is something that the folks at home could take away from your experience with either spending your caring tokens correctly, or spending your caring tokens incorrectly? What are some things that the folks could focus on?
Okay, so for me, somebody I think mentioned this a little bit earlier, how about giving too much and caring too much about other people. That's something I've been through, and that's something I've spent most of my life kind of dealing with. On the subject of family, that's one place where that has happened. I cared too much about what they wanted and what they wanted from me and their feelings, not hurting their feelings, instead of worrying about what was best for me. And my family is difficult to be around for me. They are very different people than I am, and I don't want to, get into too many details and say negative things or anything like that. I don't want to bash them, if that makes sense. But for a long time, they were trying to pull me to be with them always. Most of them are in the kind of mindset of, we always need to be with each other, we're family, and we'll live together. And no, it wasn't the thing for me. But they kind of, the way I felt, it was like I had two people with one on each arm, and everybody's trying to tell me what to do. And eventually I had to just pull my arms back to myself and say, it's my life, I'm doing whatever I want to do. You're welcome to be a part of it, but you don't get to tell me what to do anymore. And if you don't like what I'm doing, there's the door. Go. Because they're not beneficial to me. You know what I mean? Like it's they want to be around me. I don't not want to be around them, but I want to be around them a lot less than they seem to want to be around me. Thank you, Nate. And then I've had similar experiences with just a lot of people. Friends as well. I've had a lot of friends who are just, they're not nearly as loyal as I am to them, towards me. And I would cling to them for a very long time, just hoping that eventually it would click and they would understand that what I wanted was this thing or that thing, and like that it would just kind of eventually make sense in their brain. I had a best friend for like 13 years trying to do that same thing, and it just never happened. So I guess my best thing to say about that is, same was what Farmers kind of already said. Actually think about yourself. A lot of us have a tendency, or not a lot of us, but a lot of people that I've met have a tendency to have that anxiety that if they're not satisfying other people, then they're not doing good. You know what I mean? They don't necessarily have a big focus on themselves. And I think that's because in part society has kind of taught us to do so much for others, like customer service type jobs, that it's becoming more difficult for people to understand how to take care of themselves properly. Like that's why there's so much like mental health stuff kind of around nowadays. And it could just be that it's easier to diagnose now as well.
Yeah.
But I also think a part of it is that society has been pushing us for so long to give more and more that people are just kind of losing sight of what's really important, and they're becoming more of it's almost like a needy thing. It's like they have a sense in their brain where they like need to be doing other things for other people, otherwise it's not good. And that's something that I think we need to work on reversing a little bit, at least.
And it's like one person at a time. That's the same way you eat an elephant, is one bite at a time. We might not be able to change the world, but we can certainly change ourselves. And if by changing ourselves we inspire other people to change as well, and and ascend with us on our way up, then all the better. I think that, and I'm going to tie this all together and then we'll go ahead and do outros. I think that the best thing that people can do is understand that there's two types of folks in the world, right? You've got anchors and you've got balloons. The anchors are going to drag you down. They're going to steal your energy. They're going to steal your time. They're going to steal your money. They're going to steal your attention. They'll steal all your resources, whatever the heck, right? Stealing might not be the wrong word, but they will remove value from your life. The balloons are the people that will bring you up and like they will say, hey, I'm positive, I'm giving energy, I'm giving attention, I'm giving money, I'm doing all these things, I am increasing your wealth and your contentment and your happiness and your opportunities that are around you. It's important for us to learn who are the anchors and to learn who are the balloons. We need to cut off the anchors, let them sink down to the bottom where they belong. Hopefully they might learn something from the act of us cutting them off, and then they one day turn into a balloon. And we need to hold on to the balloons, and then they'll bring us up into the air, just like the house in that Disney Pixar's Up. And then we'll all be happily ever after. I'm going to go ahead and do a quick round of final chat shout outs. We've got Chad Donner Schwantz. Hello, fellow based crypto bros. Hello to you too, Mr. Chad Donner Schwantz. And then we got Dre Sims coming in with the got milk. Good sir, I do not have milk with me quite yet, but maybe some point it someday. And then we've also got Agent J in the chat. He says that he's an anchor, but in the positive sense. Look at you twisting my words around to suit your meaning. Very clever. I reject your reality and I substitute my own, I believe, is what the not walrus guy on the Mythbusters says. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and do our final closing arguments here. Mr. Zenith, what are you looking forward to in the near future? What programs you got coming up? What are some things that you're working on, and where can the folks find you? Ready, set, go. Also, actually, before you go, Zenith, real quick, everybody, like, comment, subscribe, share, bitch, moan, complain, do all that stuff. If you guys want to join the Telegram, then right down here, there is a QR code that tells you, or that like you can scan with your computer, or you can take a picture of with your phone, or you can click on the link in the description below, or pretty soon I'm going to drop a bit.ly link down there in the chats. But you guys need to join our Telegram community. Keep watching this stream. We stream every Sunday, pretty much every Wednesday, and pretty much every Friday, doing news, doing Whiskey Wednesdays and things, and also doing book club, which is hosted by myself and Zenith. On that note, Mr. Zenith, have you come up with a book for us to do next Friday? What is our homework? Where can the folks find you? Let's go ahead and get these closings in.
I actually have not come up with a book for next week yet. I have a short list that I want to put it to. I think I have that one thing, or it's one of the ones that Michael Sartain has at the top of his list. The other one I wanted to cover at some point was extreme ownership, and I felt like this might be a decent week for it. So I'll put it to a poll in the chat, and we'll see how it goes. Yet another reason to get in the Telegram chat so you can figure out and help determine what books we're going to be reading for the upcoming week. Other than that, the only other thing I got to push is go follow our buddy Nuclear Herbs on Twitter. Send love all his way. I know he's having a rough time, and he's a massive pillar of our community, and he's going to be more and more important going forward. So we would like to keep him around and keep him healthy. Again, he's the Pulse Chain lawyer. So if you like all the updates on the Richard Hart legal stuff, he's the guy to go to. Other than that, we do have a very big show coming up this Sunday, aka 2 days from now, because it's going to be our first full show after the halvening. Obviously, we had the halvening happen while we were live tonight, but we're yet to see the fallout from the markets. I mean, I'll pull it up real quick, but I don't think... Yep, nope, close to no movement. We're still sitting at about 63,700. So we'll see how this shakes out, and we will provide a lot of insight about what we think is coming up in the near future regarding that. Do we have a guest for this Wednesday? I feel like I'm drawing a blank on this one.
I am not entirely sure.
Okay. All right. We will try to find a guest in the short term. I actually might have somebody in mind. I'll see if I can text him and see if they want to hop on. But yeah, guest stream on Wednesday. If you want to see a very off the rails, but I would argue what was a very good Whiskey Wednesday, this last week went for over 3 hours, but it was an absolute blast. Shout out
that was a kick-ass one.
Yeah, shout out to DJ Black Sheep, Professor STP, Odin Nodal, and Donnie, the coder. We had a great time. And yeah, I did one of the cringiest things possible where, you know, when you listen to a British or an Aussie person and then you just like kind of instinctively like say their accent back to them and the phrases.
Oh,
I did that too. Donnie was doing his goodbye and I said, "All right, mate, thanks, cheers." And I was like,
that's
oh God,
funny
it's
as hell.
So bad. Anyways, I'm just rambling at this point. Yeah, we got Sunday show, we got Wednesday show, we got another Friday show, and we're going to keep it going. We only got bigger and better things coming up from here. So, with that being said, passing it over to Farmer Jay. Where can the people find you at, my man?
Find me on the DGen Roundtable Telegram. And a quick
Most-
suggestion for a book. Napoleon Hill's Outwitting the Devil is a pretty good read. I think we should
Okay.
cover that sometime.
All right.
Outwitting the Hill. I'm going to put that in our DGen Roundtable Telegram book suggestions. You said Outwitting the Hill?
Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh.
Napoleon Hill. No, Napoleon Hill. Sorry. Why the hell did I say
Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah, I was thinking Napoleon Hill. Outwitting the Devil. It's free
That is
on
the same
YouTube.
guy that wrote Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah, same guy.
Love
This book he didn't want to release until after his passing.
Oh,
So
that's
it's kind of
interesting.
like it's kind of like an interview or of him like with a theoretical interview with the devil.
Okay.
You know,
That's
it's
interesting.
It's pretty good. It's a pretty good, interesting book. It's been recommended through many of the Red Pill spaces. Like it's a pretty good read. It's free on YouTube, so you can just listen to it there and see if you like it at all.
Okay. That's good. Yeah, I've added it to our chat suggestions, which like eventually we'll run out of Sci-Vive, and then I might decide to host that one. So excellent. So you've said where the
Maybe-
folks can find you, and
Maybe it's special host Farmer J holds that one.
ooh, I like where
Hey,
this is
hey.
going.
You know,
I like where this is going.
2032, you know, I hosted.
Excellent, brother. You have anything else before we toss it off to Mr. Nate McGettit?
No, that's it. You guys have a great night. It was great being on here.
Excellent. Mr. Nate McGettit, bro, what do you got coming up in the near future, and where can the folks find you?
Well, I'm working on a couple of things right now. I'm planning on getting a hold of some people over at Phantom and maybe doing kind of expanding into some guest work over there, right? Or having them do guest work over here. My bad. But yeah, it's been kind of tough so far because we're getting into the busy season of my work, and they are heavily relying on me to. And I mean, there is a oh, I'm forgetting the freaking word. Oh my gosh. Leveling up, getting going higher in the chain. But oh man, why am I forgetting that word? I'm just having a mind blank over it. Promotion. Fucking thank you. God, what the hell, dude? Oh, late night, right? Busy day, late night. I literally just got home like at 6:20, right before it hit time to hop on, right? So I had to rush. Well, with all that being said, though, so got a promotion and working a lot, trying to get the Phantom people in here, as well as I am still, I am ascending. Agent J is exactly it, the ascending man. So, but yeah, I also, you can go ahead and get a hold of me here on my Linktree. I'm in the Telegram, right? Get a hold of me there. If you have any questions or anything, jump into a consult with me. I can really get you, if you feel like maybe you're not quite 100% straight as far as like your portfolio, things like that, or maybe you're trying to earn some yield without losing it all or getting rugged or anything like that. I mean, if you got questions, go ahead, just hit up a consult with me. I will personally hold your hand and walk you through how to safely do all these things and then make lots of money. So yeah, that's what I've got coming up. That and I'm also diving deep into the bonding liquidity of the Atropa ecosystem and how they're just grouping everything together. This is more than likely going to become kind of the future of how Pulse Chain runs in general, and it's going to be once one thing goes up, basically everything goes up. So it's going to be very, very interesting how the integral web is being spun right now. And a lot of that might actually have something to do with not necessarily, and this has got to be clear when it comes to PDI pegging, right? Maybe it's not necessarily that it pegs to $1 as long as it's just stable, right? It doesn't have to be $1 because it's its own coin. So as long as it's stable, that's the entire point. So yeah. Anyways, Sam, what is up, good sir?
You, Nate, you are up. The pup is up,
The ascending
and
man.
Jay is that way, because that rhymes. So, yeah, my name is Sam, and I'm gonna be doing all kinds of stuff with Bungalows for Bachelors. I'm going to be taking a little drive up to Washington State here in the next month at some point, and I'm going to be getting back into some construction footage and stuff, finishing up some projects that I started before coming back down here to Texas. But so keep an eye out for all that stuff coming on the BFB YouTube channel. If you want to join our fun little community, we got two things. I do a Thursday stream at 7:30, late night learning. If you just want to have this quick little 15-30 minute video on some interesting topic that I think of. And then the other thing is every Tuesday at 7:30, we have a sort of private call within the community where we all just hop on a call and chat about stories and share things, ask questions, and get to know each other a little bit better. But the most important thing is that the cookbook is done from the brothers, two of them. And we're still accepting pre-orders. They haven't been ordered yet. And so if you want to send some money our way, hit us up on Telegram, t.me/, well, you can find me at BFB Success, and find Will wherever Will does Will things. And let's see, I've got 2 links here that I'll drop. But if you want to see all the other stuff that I do, which is like Brothers Two of Them podcast with Will, then you can check out my link tree. It's got everything. I dropped a link in the chat. So yeah, that's what I got.
Excellent. Mrs. McGettit, where can the folks find you, and what are you looking forward to in the near future?
I'm hoping that I'm still working. Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Just the Telegram, as usual. The DGen Roundtable Telegram. I'm also in the book club version. I'm in the meeting Hexagon things, but so far nobody's been in Minnesota, so I haven't really done too much in that. And I did want to add in really quick, just that question that I missed, and it's very quick, I promise.
Yeah.
For me, what I wanted to say about that is where I left off. What I was trying to say, was that from my understanding, frustration is the stop, and the anger would be the go. So what I wanted to say is I definitely have seen very good examples of that, especially in the group that I help with that's centered on mental health. And it's very true. The frustration tends to be something that people will sit with and kind of let build and build and build. And then finally there's a breaking point, and then that's when the anger comes out, and then that's when they say something. So in that sense, I kind of think it's a little safer to do it that way. And I wanted to basically just kind of give it off, or say that I would caution people from jumping to saying something right away out of anger. So when you do get immediately angry, or when you do get angry, don't immediately start talking if you're in an interaction. That's basically what I wanted to say there. That I think it's a little bit healthier to kind of have that frustration almost build up until you say something, because it gives you a little more time to think. Hopefully, anyways. I mean, some people that probably doesn't work. But anyways, yeah, that's what I wanted to say about that topic.
Excellent. And the folks can find you in the DGen Roundtable chat, which I have dropped the link for. And I want to thank you for producing our show, both all the ones in the past, present, and also the future soon to come. For the folks at home, you guys can find me at linktree/Will Stevenson. That is where the links to all of my work is at. That's the links to all of my socials. That is the links to many, many things is over in that link tree. And also, if you guys are a Hexagon and you want to meet up with other Hexagons, then what you could do is go to t.me/hex_meetup. That is a little hex group that I have made that basically just allows Hexagons to organize their own little soirees where they can go and have a little, or not a soiree, a rendezvous. Oh, thank you, Brother64, for the super chat. Thanks for the stream, everyone. Brother64, we appreciate you sending in those Justin Trudeau bucks, my friend. Thank you so much for that. We miss you guys doing your fun little shorts. I am excited to see what you guys have cranking out in the near future, and happy that you're a part of this community. And man, what a good group of people Sam and Greg are. Shout out to those guys. Brother64, go check them out on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, folks. These guys are awesome. The what I was saying is for the Hex meetup, it's essentially a decentralized, well, it's actually pretty centralized, but the idea is to give folks a place where they can go to set up their own little meetups. If you're a crypto bro, if you're a whoever the heck, like I don't care who you are. I made it for Hexicans, but if you're not a Hexican, you want to meet up with Hexicans or you want to meet up with other cool like-minded people, then hey, hop on in this chat. I'm dropping the oh shoot, I need to wait 7 seconds before I mentioned that I dropped it, but there it is. So you guys have the link in the chat right now. So yeah, that's where you go. Other than that, we want to thank you guys. Mrs. Magetta, go ahead and get that trigger figure ready. We want to thank you guys for spending your most valuable asset with us, which is your time. Man, I totally butchered that quote. But anyways, your time is super valuable, and we want to thank you guys for spending it here with us on this DGen Roundtable show. And with that, I want to remind you all at home to DGen responsibly.